Hot Business is powered by Standard Bank Business and Commercial Banking, delivering expert support and tailored solutions to help your business grow with confidence, clarity, and resilience.
Now, this is an interesting and I think an important debate. South Africa's coal dependence is often described as an obstacle to decarbonisation, but for many manufacturers, there is a reality here. The argument is a lot more immediate, it's a lot more practical, and this is it. Without reliable, affordable industrial heat, production stops. Now, the big industrial energy company Energy Partners says alternatives such as gas, biomass and electrification are not yet ready to replace coal at scale across energy-intensive industries, particularly with South Africa facing a looming gas supply crunch from 2028. This is a very important argument, particularly for business. Manie is the Chief Executive Officer of Energy Partners. Manie, welcome to you. So South African industry, as I've mentioned, is under pressure to decarbonize. But the argument, as I understand it, is that we simply cannot switch off coal. Is that realism, or is it maybe an excuse now to delay transition at a faster pace?
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. I think you've summarized it well in your introduction. It's definitely not an excuse. In South Africa, and as you mentioned, we are specifically looking at manufacturers and specifically looking at heat in manufacturing processes, right? Their clients, big industrial users, clients of ours, they're looking at two things. They're looking at availability and they're looking at cost. And that is of absolute importance for them. And in that sense, South Africa is just structurally challenged. We do not have realistic fuels that can compete with coal when it comes to cost and availability. I can go on, but maybe, let's just stop there.
I think you make a very good and perfect point. And I want to pick you up on that phrase, structurally challenged, because I think that's the key. Is coal necessary because alternatives in that respect are not ready, or simply because business and policy have failed to push them hard enough?
I would say it's the former. In South Africa, we do not have realistic alternatives. The realistic alternatives would be gas, potentially, and we would encourage clients to use gas when it's available, but you've mentioned a gas cliff approaching. In Europe, for instance, industrial heat can be generated with electricity, but very quickly when you come to South Africa, our grid is carbon intensive anyway, and electricity costs are just increasing every year. So again, structurally, we're challenged when it comes to the use of coal for the generation of.
And Manie, the worry is gas supply. I think I said tightening around 2028. Correct me if I'm wrong. If that is heading in that direction, if that's the trajectory, there's a real crisis here when it comes to fuel planning.
Exactly. And again, coal is your only realistic option at the moment. There are other options. Let's talk, if you talk about biomass, but again, if you look closer at biomass, you have to generate that heat close to the source of biomass. It does not help trucking biomass from KZN into Gauteng. So very quickly that becomes cost prohibitive. I just maybe want to make this point that we're only talking about maximum 3% of South Africa's coal use here. 65% of all our coal is being used by Eskom. Another 25% is then used by Sasol, and about 8% specifically in chemicals and mining. That's where there are big opportunities to change. We are talking very specifically in industries such as food processing, dairy, pharmaceuticals, in printing. In those industries, we're not seeing a realistic alternative currently for coal.
And any kind of change that's going to be affected by those industries beyond Eskom are going to come at a huge cost.
Exactly. And in our company, and this is maybe something in no sense am I or our company what they call a coal fundamentalist. Our company specializes not only in heat, we also do cooling and we also do power. We've built more than 300 megawatts of renewable power across South Africa. So we look for alternatives wherever we can find them. Even when we have no other option than coal, we would plan for a future where we could potentially switch fuel sources in future when they become available. And that's our constant message to our clients and to the public is sustainability is not only about being renewable, it has to take into account your security of supply and your affordability.
But there's risk in that uncertainty, given that we don't have a solid timeline, and effectively the upshot here is that much of South African industry will remain coal dependent, probably longer than climate commitments are suggesting.
Yes, you're 100% correct, but again, South Africa can make a massive contribution to climate change and our commitments global if we look at Eskom, if we look at power generation, and we also look at Sasol, because as I mentioned, easily 90% of our coal consumption lies there. When it comes to process heat specifically, we are going to be challenged until we have a reliable gas supply. Potentially, if we can transition our carbon-intensive energy grid to a more renewable-based grid, then potentially in the future you could generate heat through electricity, and then that would, contribute to the overall sustainability goals that we're committing to.
Of course, there's the other argument that if we start to look at big companies like Sasol and Eskom and deal with their over-dependence on coal, if that starts to diminish, there's also a huge impact on jobs, isn't there?
Yes. Then it very quickly moves into the political sphere.
Indeed.
Obviously, if you transition away from coal, the renewable energy in South Africa, wind and solar, that's one of the fastest growing industries in South Africa, and that does create jobs on its own. But I would say unequivocally moving away from coal will have jobs impact, and therefore it will very quickly become political. We're not sitting with easy choices here.
So, and I absolutely acknowledge that. But Manie, then and this is a last question to you, what do you think the clearest transition path for industry is right now? Is it optimizing coal and so-called better coal? Is it planning for gas given the supply uncertainty? Is it more investment in electrification, or do we need to rethink operations entirely? Do we need to go back to the whiteboard?
A lot of the solutions you've just mentioned there, let's just start with coal, because it's not, as we've now discussed, it's not that easy to move away from it. But then if you have to use it in the most efficient way possible. And I'm not going to concentrate on the bigger picture of Eskom and Sasol. If I look at industrial SA, from a decarbonisation pathway, a company has choices. They can enter into wheeling agreements for electricity, which can have a massive impact on their overall carbon footprint. It may not be easy for them to move away from coal. They can certainly use it more efficiently, but from there they can make plans to potentially plan for a future, be more open to a future where other fuel sources are available, but then look at specifically around electrification. How can you utilize on-site renewables and both through wheeling agreements lower their carbon footprint? That's a realistic decarbonisation path.
Manie, thank you very much indeed, Chief Executive Officer at Energy Partners, a critical debate, and thanks for sparking some real thinking there.
Hot Business is powered by Standard Bank Business and Commercial Banking, recognized as the best Pan-African bank for SMEs. For tailored solutions and deep sector expertise, search Standard Bank Business and Commercial Banking today.